Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Recency Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. This is the 20th rant. We've reached the 20th milestone for Big Brother Canada 7. That says a lot because I don't even think I reached the 10th rant for the Big Brother Canada 6. So that just goes to show you I like this season much more than the last one, but that's neither here nor there. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trill, Rant God, You'll Never Walk Alone, Thanos. All of the above on that ISET test and ACT. You know what it is. And on this 20th rant of Big Brother Canada 7 entitled Old Feuds Die Hard, ladies and gentlemen, I will break down how production once again in the edit have done everything they could do over the past 2 episodes to really bury Anthony's chances of winning this game. They have told nothing in the edit that would even leave the door cracked or ajar to Anthony possibly winning this season. I mean, so much so, they won't even give us any idea that Kira could possibly beat Dane. This entire episode tonight was all about the Dane serenade party. This was the Dane has won the season before he's won the season before he's won the season episode. Essentially, by Anthony letting Adam go the way he let him go, and with Adam going out of his way to blame solely Anthony for this, when Dane was supposed to be his brother. Remember all that hot stuff? Remember, it was Mark and Anthony on one side of the PBs. It was Dane and Adam on the other side. That's how the majority of this game was, Coach. That's how it was. Now, did Dane and Anthony work together to get rid of Sam? Of course, Mark was in on that as well because Sam threw him up. Okay, but at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot drive this point home. Yeah, I needed to close that. I cannot drive this point home any further. At the end of the day, if Adam blames Anthony solely for not saving him this week, then it is just him being butthurt and salty, ladies and gentlemen. Because at the end of the day, Dane won a veto he didn't have to win. Dane was the one who could have used it on his brother Adam, and Adam could have had the choice to send Anthony home or Kira. Okay, so why isn't Dane taking 50% of the blame? See, this is why I am happy Anthony got rid of you, Adam, because you're the idiot who still would have took Dane the final 2. That's what this is telling me, because you're still finding a way to have a personal problem with Anthony, even though Anthony made a move that made perfect sense when you take into account you were way too prideful to throw an HOH you didn't have to win to him. Now Dane wins a veto he doesn't have to win, ensuring you leave during his HOH week, and you don't blame Dane at all? When Dane had all the power to ensure you didn't leave by using a damn veto? Come on, man. I know y'all missed me. It's been like 6 days. I know y'all missed me. See, the energy never changes, Coach. My apologies for not being here on Sunday night. Family was in town, and we had to get it down. You feel it, dig me, Coach? But shout-outs to you mighty mods. I have missed you. Shout-outs to all the subs. Shout-outs to everyone who is watching this live or on demand. I appreciate every single one of you, okay? But in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned, we will break down Sunday's episode, then we will break down tonight's episode, and then towards the end, I will get to answering questions like it's a standard Thursday night episode or rant, whichever one you want to call it. So the first thing that I want to mention from Sunday's episode, okay, because I watched this earlier today, okay, I'm peeping game, and I'm like, man, they're BSing us hard. And if you don't know this already, ladies and gentlemen, they cut feeds over the weekend, essentially right after the veto was won by Dane, and essentially right after Dane and Anthony had the conversation about when are we going to reveal it to Adam that we're sending him home. That was essentially when feeds cut. Around that time where Arissa Cox actually came on the loudspeaker and told them all to come to the living room, that's basically when feeds stopped for the rest of the season. So everything that we saw on this episode was the last part of feeds. So everything past that, I can't really chime in on what went down. We're going to have to rely on the edit to tell the truth. And based off what we've seen so far, we know they're not going to tell the truth. So even if Anthony pulls off a masterclass, I fully expect them to convince Kira to want to cut Anthony for some reason. I could see it coming. And the way production is telling this story in such a biased way, I could see Kira beating Anthony at the end because this jury seems to be all butthurt that a black man outplayed them. I mean, but see, this all goes back to what I said at the beginning of the season. I said, hey, at the end of the day, Anthony is playing very well around all of these white folks, but he is going to regret the moment he decided to not have more people of color in that jury house. It seems that all of it is coming to fruition, Coach. You feel it, Digby? We weren't wishing for this, but at the same time, this is a great example to show future black players of any season. You do not turn on your people. Because no matter how well you play to get to the end, odds are they're not going to let you reach final two and have that say to explain your game because of how well you would have had to have played people that don't look like you to get there. They're going to be too butthurt to reward you with the money, which is why you need people that understand what it's like to be a person of color in that jury house. And you see, Damien, he ain't speaking on Anthony's name like, oh, that's my fellow person of color. No. Damien's over there trying to learn how to play a damn ukulele. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, coach, and Esty is still clout chasing off his name, trying to get popular off Damien. I'm peeping game on that. Sam is getting free marketing, doing the eyebrows of Corey. You know what I'm saying? They're basically giving her salon free marketing. You know, the type of stuff that drives me up a wall is the same type of stuff people love. You feel me? Other people love, okay? But purists of the game, we think that stuff is despicable. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was a cold opening. Man, look, I got a lot of pent up hot takes in the holster, coach. So we got to let them all shoot out before tomorrow's pending finale, okay? We got to let them all loose tonight, okay? By the way, shout outs to Liverpool. Yeah, we pulled off the impossible. You feel it, dig me? You feel it, dig me? But anyway, the only time the announcer ever spoke highly of Anthony in an intro, now mind you, this is Sunday's episode. I want y'all to go back and peep game on what I'm noticing here, was when he recapped Anthony sending Mark home. This is further proof production only shines a light on Anthony's gameplay if it's bad for his overall game. Because what they tried to do in this situation was try to shine light on him because they love calling him the guru when it's convenient. But at the end of the day, you guys don't tell the story in the edit that he's a guru to Dane. You make Dane seem like the apex guru, and you just call Anthony the guru. But that's neither here nor there. But I want to drive this point home. The only reason why they started giving Anthony credit about this move to send Mark home is because deep down production knows this move hurt Anthony's game. So they'll give you credit for that because you shot yourself in the foot. They'll love to celebrate that. And see, this goes back to my old rant, the rant I just did on Thursday night. If these people are celebrating a move you made, it's because it's the wrong move. Period. End of story. If people are all of a sudden giving you credit, it's because now they're starting to see, oh, he can't win the game now. Oh, I don't dislike him anymore. You know, it's almost like when you declaw an animal, defang an animal. Now all of a sudden, they're not threatening to you anymore, and now you allow them in your home. You allow them in your household now. Now they're acceptable. It's like that in a way, ladies and gentlemen. It's like that, okay? So I got to keep driving this point home. They showed his bad moments in every episode's intro he was in up until Final Four. Then when he finally does something production likes, they spin it as if this move wasn't catastrophic to Anthony's overall game. This was done by design to give Dane all the credit for the move indirectly, coach. Okay? I want to drive that point home with you early in the game because the episode we just saw tonight, it was 100% them just gargling down Dane. Just gargling him down. Okay? They are all over this guy. It's funny, man. I talk about how flip-floppy and how floatery a lot of these Anthony haters have been this season, right? But production might be the biggest flip-floppers. I mean, they abandoned Adam at the drop of a hat, didn't they? I mean, geez, blood, geez. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Then Dane, through confessional, says he can't believe he pulled off this move. But wasn't he the same guy who guaranteed he would stay on Wednesday night's episode? Wasn't he the guy who actually, for the first time ever in an unprecedented fashion, got to end the episode on his quote as opposed to the announcer guy's quote? Wasn't he the one giving this preferential treatment? So isn't this a bit contradictive? Or maybe that's not a word. Isn't this a contradiction of Dane to now all of a sudden act like he pulled off such a great move, even though they already telegraph and spoil Thursday night's eviction results by showing the Dane scene at the end of Wednesday night's episode? See, this is once again production trying to give Dane more credit than he really deserves. Like this is more proof of that. They're doubling down on it. But see, we've already accepted Dane was going to stay. We've already accepted that was a good move for him to pull off. But for them to keep driving the point home during this episode, it's them trying to build the case for why Dane should beat Anthony at the end, even if it does happen. It's one of those if necessary type things. You feel me? It's them trying to separate Dane from the pack. You know, the Kentucky Derby just happened. From what I'm hearing, they had some kind of controversy surrounding it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I ain't lived in Kentucky in a minute, so I'm not really in on that horse racing stuff. But at the end of the day, though, it's like that almost, right? Now they're trying to get Dane in pole position so he can keep leading for the rest of the race now that he's got it in a stranglehold. And see, I can't drive this point home enough, ladies and gentlemen. If Anthony just gets rid of Dane, Mark probably still wins the HOH Dane won, but I bet you Mark doesn't win that veto as well. I bet you he doesn't. Probably goes to Kira. Kira in that situation probably evicts Adam. And now we have Kira, Mark, and Anthony. In my opinion, that still is a better final three scenario. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, at the end of the day, Kira could still take Anthony over Dane. I get that. But I just think from a loyalty card perspective, Anthony threw away his loyalty card move, and you could see it in the intro. Now they're giving Dane the Infinity Stone of Loyalty. They took it away from Anthony because he sent Mark home. They set him up to not look like a loyal person. See, man, listen. This is a big swindle job production did on Anthony. I mean, and it's funny because now all of a sudden there's rumors coming out. Oh, did you know he was a productions assistant? Oh, that's a conflict of interest. Well, where's the proof, first off? Oh, you don't have any proof. Okay, so you might just be full of shit trying to cause interference. But at the end of the day, coach, at the end of the day, if you don't have no proof, and let's say you did have some proof, surely you would have had that proof before Anthony started playing a fantastic game. It seems like y'all start reaching for things to take away from this man's greatness once he keeps showing you he's great. Like it's incredible to me. If Anthony would have played a terrible game, if he would have won these comps early in the season, like these people said, oh, and you see how the jury, they're like, oh, we're all about comp wins. In other words, they're setting up Anthony being a lose-lose situation. Because if he was about comp wins coming into this game, he would have been targeted early in this game. Okay, as a person of color, definitely. He probably would have been sent home in Mackey's spot if he was a comp beast, because he would definitely look more threatening than Mackey ever looked. Because at the end of the day, Anthony is a bigger human being doing it. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if he would have been this comp beast that they say, oh, this is the reason why he can't win the game, because he wasn't a comp beast. He would have been targeted as a black man and never made the jury in the first place. And that would have been the outcome all of these white folks would have never quit 96 times for. You see what I'm saying? So understand, this is like a gigantic circle jerk of reverse psychology that they're trying to play, but it's not working because the RBR community are the erudites. We are the smartest community. There's nothing you can do. I can debunk every single theory you come up with because your theories are based off hatred. My theories are based off logic. Logic always beats emotions, okay? And I feel like that's the theme of BBCAN7 rants. It's really logic over emotion, but that's neither here nor there. Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right. So Dane through confessional says he can't believe he pulled this off, but wasn't he the same guy who guaranteed he would stay 2 episodes ago? This show's production are contradicting themselves in their own edit by overtly dick riding Dane. Remember, they spoiled the results of Thursday's live eviction just to guarantee the ratings wouldn't dip. They didn't want fans to assume Mark would stay because that would lead to them quitting the show again. What I don't like is how they went out of their way to show Adam make the final. They went out of their way to show Adam make the men promise to take him to final 3, only for the edit to exclusively show Adam giving his handshake to Anthony. This was done by design to make Anthony look like a liar and not Dane. We only saw Dane give Anthony a handshake during that scene for a reason. There was a gigantic jump cut. That way we could never see the handshake Dane gave Adam. That way Dane would never be perceived as a liar before tonight's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an effort by a lot of people to make Anthony look like the only liar here, even though Dane, once again, is the biggest liar in the game. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue once again. All right. Now, production did not want the casual audience to dislike Dane for betraying Adam as much as Anthony. So they let Anthony look like the only liar here. Also, keep in mind, Anthony is the only one here with reason to turn on Adam in the edit and on feeds. So technically, Anthony, of all people, should be given a pass for this. But you know production. They throw black people under the bus with no guilty conscience. Okay, and this narrative allows them to make Dane look like a savior of the season for stopping the big bad black man from winning, who sent Adam out the door. You see what I'm doing? I'm showing y'all how they are subtly but surely creating the great white hope complex savior, okay, by having Anthony be the one to send Adam out the door. Let's be real here. Dane could have used the veto on Adam, and Adam could have been in this exact same position, and these same people crying over Adam, oh, he was the loyal one, you guys weren't. If Adam would have had that sole vote, if he would have won the veto, if he would have been that sole vote period, if Dane uses the veto on him, any scenario that leaves him being the sole vote and he sent Anthony out the door, these same people that's crying, they would be rejoicing right now. So it wasn't about Kira not making final three because they don't deserve to be there. It was all about them not liking the fact that Anthony got his revenge on Adam for talking all that slick shit the entire season. People don't like that. So now they're hitching their little wagons on to Dane because he's the last hope. They know deep down Kira doesn't stand a chance against Anthony. So please believe production and these casuals and these Dane fans want nothing more than for it to be Kira and Dane, because that is the only two productions pets left. And that is the only combination left to be two production pets. Okay, now let's continue. Production did not want the casual audience to dislike Dane for betraying Adam as much as Anthony. So they let Anthony look like the only liar here. I already mentioned that for the most part. And this narrative allows them to make Dane look like the savior of the season for stopping the big bad black man from winning. The same casuals claiming they were all about people of color with the Damien stuff wouldn't hesitate to jump on code to celebrate Anthony losing the game. And that's why I exposed them earlier in this season. Dane celebrated way too loud for a guy that's supposed to be keeping a promise. I want Anthony to use his motor skills a little bit. If you were tied with Dane going into the final question, what would make Dane celebrate that hard if he's your boy? If he's your brother? Huh? What would make him celebrate that hard? Think about it, Adam. See, it's amazing. Dane can do all of this grimy stuff towards Adam in the final four, and he will still only blame Anthony. He will only blame Anthony. I guess his mouthpiece is so good, he convinced Dane to do all this. If that's the case, then how come you're acting like Dane deserves to win over Anthony then? See, you can't have it both ways. Either Anthony has the ability to persuade on some Star Wars Jedi of the Night, Jedi Order type stuff. Either he has that level of skill on the Witcher 3 Geralt side of the game. Now, that's one hell of a reference. But at the end of the Axie. But anyway, either he has that ability to convince Dane to do something against Adam, and he deserves all the credit to win the game over Dane, or he doesn't have that ability and Dane should be held accountable, even though he also should take some of the credit for being able to send Adam home this week. But for Adam to conveniently blame Anthony for all of the bad moments and then give Dane all of the good credit, that's BS. And I'd argue that's the exact same thing production has been doing this whole season in the edit. This is the exact same thing the casuals have been doing outside of the game. It's the same exact thing. When you really break it down, all of these people are jumping on code against Anthony. And they're using the same exact rhetoric to build their case on why Dane should win the game. I still haven't lied yet. I mean, listen, this is logic, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Liverpool won yesterday. I'm cool. I'm not mad. Okay? Tomorrow's my last time I ever got a cover this season. You feel it, dig me? But at the end of the day, though, I'll be damned if people keep feeding y'all misinformation and there isn't someone like Thanos to come in and create some order. Okay? I'm creating order right now. All right, but anyway. But yeah, so Dane celebrates extra loud, but he's supposed to be keeping a promise to be in Final Three with nothing but PBs. Adam should immediately known something was up right there. Adam was the only competition for Dane in the competition itself. So for Adam, of all people, to not see this eviction coming, I find to be very indicative of his gameplay. I mean, the dude has no awareness. That's his biggest weakness. Yeah, you can call him the best comp beast in Big Brother Canada history all you want, but if you don't have no brain to go with it, who cares? Who cares? Say whatever you want about Emmett cheating in comps and stuff. He at least had a mind. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't just brawn. You know what I'm saying? He was brains as well. And that's something Adam just doesn't have. And that's why they had to rig a comp to him to give him something. Because at the end of the, and see, it's not lost on me that Adam loses the game basically because he couldn't find a box. Production rigged a comp involving marks on boxes with ultraviolet scanning lights on the Scary Movie 2 Seaman side of the game. And then Adam is also the guy that was punching boxes because he was frustrated Sam was leaving. So all of these things put together, okay? All of these things put together are hilarious to me. The fact that Adam leaves because of a box. And yet his entire game, all of his best moments are almost intertwined with boxes. He refused to throw an HOH during a box HOH. I mean, and I'd argue that contributed to Anthony not wanting to keep him here. So understand, the term box should be on Adam's mind the rest of his life because that has made and broke him in this game. This stuff is hilarious to me, bro. And I just find the entitlement out of this world for him to expect Anthony to save him. Why should Anthony save you? Anthony just cut Mark to keep Dane in his game to get you out. You're not using your brain? You really thought he cut Mark to keep Dane so he could deal with both of y'all motherfuckers in Final Three? That don't even make sense. And let's be real, I still don't think that move made sense to get rid of Mark as it is. But at least if I'm a savvy game player, I would think, what is his angle? Why didn't he just force the easy tie so Kira would send Dane home? You feel me? And see, that should be more of a testament to Anthony's gameplay to be able to, yeah, okay, Adam, I'm with you. We're going to vote to keep Dane. And then for both of them to flip on you when Adam was the main person trying to fight for Dane to stay a week ago. I mean, if I'm Adam, I should have more of a problem with Dane based off that context. But once again, there was a personal problem he always had with Anthony. So he was prepared to blame him for this regardless, ladies and gentlemen. Let's really talk about it. Let's really talk about it. So the more I provide this context, the more Adam didn't deserve to be saved by Anthony. And at the end of the day, it didn't make sense for him to bring Adam to Final Three. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. At the end of the day, his only shot is sitting next to Kira. Sitting next to Adam, he gets washed. Sitting next to Dane, now that we know how the jury feels, he gets washed anyway as well. This is his only chance. His other shot was sitting next to Mark, but as long as he knew in the Final Four with Kira and Mark, there was a high probability that he would be screwed in Final Three because neither one of those two would take him, and it's all about mental in the final stage of the final HOH, then damn, it does add up why he wanted to get rid of Mark. But once again, he made his life much more difficult here because now he has to rely on Kira of all people to outsmart Dane when production now has all the incentive in the world to Marissa Jared Rigaker this finale and give Dane the answers to the final HOH ahead of time. So that way Kira makes the final two regardless, but Anthony doesn't. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's really put on our thinking caps here. This is fitting too easily into the narrative of Anthony being an idiot. This is what they wanted him to look like. This is what they wanted him to be, the guy who's Godfreyed. That's what they wanted, and they're probably gonna get it. Okay, but the difference is Godfrey made Final Two because he won that last competition and chose who he wanted to take. And remember the number one excuse for why he didn't win? He chose the wrong person, Dave. He should have chose the other white girl, not that white girl. That's what everyone told us, okay? But the more you watch how people are turning on Anthony, despite the fact his game was nothing like Godfrey's, because remember, people say Godfrey lost because he slept for the first 4 weeks. Anthony didn't sleep for the first 4 weeks. In fact, he affected a lot of those HOHs in the first 4 weeks. But at the end of the day, coach, he still is being painted with the same broad stroke of he's done way too many mistakes to deserve to win. Hell, they are calling Anthony a floater when we know, damn near that entire jury is made up of floaters. But you gonna call Anthony one? Are you serious? Like Corey, like let's be real, Corey. I saw her turn on him tonight. We're gonna get into that when I get into the next episode. But at the end of the day, Corey, you specifically, you do know if Anthony didn't extend his arm, you're a floater, right? Esty, you do know if Dane doesn't extend his arm, you're a floater, right? Matter of fact, you were a floaster anyway. Let's keep it a buck with that one. Damian, you were a floater since day one. That's the only game you know how to play, and you don't even know how to play the game. Sam, let's be real here. Okay, if Adam wasn't in this house, you and Chelsea would probably be working with Kira, and you'd probably be 3 floaters. Okay, I'm just keeping it real here. You would be the floaters that belong to something, but with no power. Essentially, you would be basically Maddie in Paris. All right, let's just call it what it is, coach. Okay, Mark, without the PBs, you even with the PBs, you were perceived as a huge floater. Okay, but see, how many HOHs did Mark really affect? He affected less HOHs than Anthony did, and he won an HOH. So for Mark and Corey to allow this narrative to continue in the jury house that Anthony is somehow this floater, knowing damn well he worked so hard to protect both of them, and let's be real, it took a beta male anonymous twist for Corey to even leave the game. How was Anthony supposed to predict that would happen? And Corey knows Adam won that twist and did it and used it against her. So did she assume Anthony was in on that and didn't tell her just because he was with the PBs? He wasn't in on that shit. Okay, but this is once again more proof you could be guilty by association. And let's not rule out the idea that production and sequester is feeding them information to make them dislike Anthony even more. Okay, they would have all the incentive in the world to do so based off the edit. You can't edit this season the way y'all did, giving Anthony no credit, then have him win the season. Y'all would have to go back and re-edit every episode. It would be like Survivor. Where you know, they edit the last episode, then they edit everything after that, after the last episode. They basically film it, well, edit it in reverse, basically. You know, it's like that in a way. You feel me? And see, they don't want that. They don't want that. If they did want that, if he was really this production's assistant at some point, you know, wouldn't they have done more to make him look good? Wouldn't they have rigged that specific twist to Anthony of all people? You feel me? Wouldn't they have waited for an HOH that wasn't Corey's to bring it into the game so Anthony would look? You feel me? Like, everything people are throwing at a wall hoping it sticks, it just doesn't hold any weight because the continuity of this argument is way too convenient right now to bring up. But that's my argument for that. Dang, man, I'm really sweating in this month, boy. Damn, boy, yeah. Like when you don't rent for 6 days, boy, you get out of shape, boy. Like this is a sport, coach. All right, that's why everybody who try to copy me end up falling off soon. But that's neither here nor there. All right, let's continue. Kira says Mark wouldn't have won that comp, but he would have, you idiot. What the hell is she talking about? Mark had more numbers in his head than Mason did in Black Ops 1. Ooh, that reference. Mason. Anyone that played that game, you know that's an A1 one. But anyway, but this does confirm production played a role in convincing Kira to be okay with Dane staying. Because they actually believe Mark couldn't have done this exact same thing with the dates. And Mark could have. I really don't see how Kira has the one possible person they could beat in Final 2 leave the house and they're happy if production doesn't play a role. It just doesn't make any sense. Now for Anthony, okay, I could see where he's coming from to an extent, but at the same time, I still believe Mark should have stayed over Dane. Then hopefully you can get rid of Mark in Final 4. That way you're with Adam and Kira. Okay, because if Adam is truly talking about, oh man, we got to make sure a guy wins, he has to take you to the end. Kira, they don't want to sit next to Adam. They got to take you to the end. I think his ideal Final 3 would have been Adam and Kira, or a variation of Adam and Mark. You feel me? Any variation of that would have been his ideal Final 3. But I think he knew Adam was pretty much Teflon, and Adam could have been fed answers in the Final 3 HOH. So I could see, especially when you take into account what Mark has already said about the preferential treatment Dane and Adam has been getting and the whole jump cut that happened on Thursday night's episode, that could be playing a role in a lot of this. All right. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Now, Adam cries and Anthony wisely walks away to give him some space. Adam tells Dane he's afraid he's going home, and Dane says, get it out of his head. Then Dane says they can't let Kira win. All of this should make Dane look bad on Wednesday's episode, but something tells me people will stay more mad at Anthony, which happened, and give Dane credit for just making a good move. For Anthony to convince Dane to not throw him up was amazing to me. If you remember, I predicted Dane would throw up Anthony just to take that argument from him in the final HOH. Well, in the final speech to the jury. I think in the end, Dane didn't do this because he wants Anthony to think he won't cut him at Final 3. Adam tells Dane it will break his heart if they don't take him to Final 3. Adam asks Dane if he has a Final 2 with Anthony. Dane creates a lie and says he promised Anthony he wouldn't put him up if he saved him over Mark. Adam buys it hook, line, and sinker like a sucker. And let's be real here. He's much more likely to buy a lie from Dane just because Dane is another white guy. Like, let's be real here. Anthony could tell him something that's flat out the truth. He's less likely to buy that because he thinks Anthony is this dude who has a way with words. He almost speaks on Anthony like he has parcel tongue and is Harry Potter or something. I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck tonight. And maybe my references are incredible. These are some legendary references tonight. I got to keep it a buck. You really dig me? I got to keep it a buck. Further showing me Adam didn't deserve all this praise he was getting all season. All right. The jury is labeling Anthony a floater and say they don't understand his game. We all know if Anthony was a white man, the entire jury would treat him like they treat Dane. We all know if Anthony looked like Damien, everyone would love his gameplay. In fact, if Anthony looked like Damien and played the exact same way, nobody would even mention him being a person of color. Uh-oh. They would want to prop him up as another great white hope. Uh-oh. These are the facts. Bang. But see, I told y'all Anthony would regret not having Mackie and Kaylin in the jury to back him up with votes for this very reason. Corey and Mark both turned on him as soon as they got time away from him and more time around white folks. This in itself should show how brilliant Anthony's game was. But for Corey and Mark to both know all the work Anthony put in firsthand and to not defend him in that jury house only tells me they've been manipulated by peer pressure and production, because there is nothing the other players in the house can tell them about Anthony's game to sway them unless they are salty he made it to the end without them. And that's only if production didn't interfere. For all we know, production could be pushing for Anthony to lose the game. It sounds like the jury will value comp wins over everything else, which is so stupid coming off of a Paris win in Big Brother Canada 6. This tells me white folks are jumping on code when the last winner wasn't white. This is exactly why BB21 is most likely going to be terrible, and Big Brother Canada 8 will probably have even less representation now that a black recruit managed to pull off something that was impossible, to say the least. To be honest, I don't even want to cover Big Brother Canada anymore. I miss my free time in the spring. And if a guy can play as well as Anthony can as a black man in this season and still be called a floater, especially when it's impossible for a black man in a house full of white people to float, let's really drive that point home there. It just tells me they don't deserve the support from black people. That's what it tells me. That's what it tells me. Because it is impossible for a black person to float. It's impossible, ladies and gentlemen. Because no matter what, you are being painted with a broad stroke for something you did wrong weeks ago. I remember in Big Brother Celebrity, people were mad at Candy Burris for weeks just because she took out some frozen chicken and let it defrost in the sink. People were mad at her about that for weeks, and the game was only 3 weeks. So this is just me further showing y'all, man, if a black person does something, it gets blown out of proportion because it benefits everybody that doesn't look like them to do it. That is the easiest way to survive a week. Let's all get rid of the black person. And I would argue the jury is conducting themselves exactly like they did against Kaylin. Now they're just turning their sights on Anthony. Like, real talk, when you really break it down, they're essentially treating him exactly how they treated Kaylin, just from a jury house where Anthony can't hear it. And for him to have allies that he truly had the back of, for them to speak so negatively of him, I think it's very disrespectful. But it once again shows why you need people that look like you in the jury house. And this is why we're going to get less representation, because production will know we're getting smarter after seeing how they did Anthony. There we go. Now let's continue. And have y'all peeped game on these Anthony haters coming out of the woodworks talking about him being a productions assistant for Big Brother Canada? If he was really that, wouldn't production have protected him more? And how come nobody had this inside information before now? See, this is more haters trying to take away from this brother's gameplay by implying he was a pet. But if he was a pet, why has every intro been anti-Anthony? Y'all can't answer that. If he was a pet, why was a twist made to stop only his game? If he was a pet, why is Kira a higher priority on the pet list than he is? They can't answer these questions, and they have refused to provide valuable evidence. So until I see some, they are just distracting us from his great gameplay. Now, notice how none of these awards during this award show segment included Anthony, but all of them included Dane or Adam. Did y'all peep game on that? That was production subtly telling us that Dane and Adam are the story of the season. Basically, it also was them blatantly telling us they don't want Anthony leaving with any trophies. Oh, boy, listen, the symbolism is out of this world, bruh. The symbolism out of this world. And they must have noticed how biased this award show was, because they forced in that, oh my God, scene at the last minute, just so Anthony had a scene of himself. But you notice that was the last award. You see that? And you notice how he lost to Damien? You see that? They painted two people of color against each other for a reason, ladies and gentlemen, just like production tries to paint us against each other in the game as it is, but that's neither here nor there. So of course I wasn't shocked at all by Damien winning this award, because like I said, they don't want a black man winning anything on Big Brother, unless of course it's a comp earlier in the season to make him an easy target. They like that. Man, they getting bodied tonight. They getting bodied. They're not used to getting bodied on a Wednesday. Okay, and questions are still coming later too. Yeah, this gonna be, get him a body bag, all right? And if you're too smart to take the bait and if you're too smart to take the bait, they call you a floater for outsmarting the system built on racism. More facts. More facts. My apologies to the people who might be having earbuds. Maybe that was too loud. I'm gonna back off. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on tonight's episode, Wednesday's episode. All right, now, and after this, we will get into answering questions, so please have them ready. Peep game on how the veto comp that would decide the final three was a comp that put someone with Anthony's size at a disadvantage. This is important to point out because Anthony winning veto and taking out Adam would have given him more of a case to win unanimously. And to be honest, after seeing this comp, I think Adam was also at a huge disadvantage because of his height. This makes me think production rigged this comp to Dane so he could have all the power during the last HOH week. And for him to win both HOH and veto right after being dead to rights only further builds his case to beat everyone left, further justifying my point in being so disappointed in Anthony for saving Dane over Mark. Mark would have won that HOH, but not this veto. Meaning, in all likelihood, it would have went to Kira. I don't see Kira keeping Adam over Anthony. And before people point out the obvious to mention how bad Kira did at this comp because she didn't find the pink box, and I think it's pretty funny that she's a lesbian and couldn't find the pink box. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry, y'all. I couldn't help myself. You're so immature. She couldn't find the box. She couldn't find it, bro. Are you batting on the wrong team, coach? I'm just asking. If you can't find the pink box, you might be on the wrong team. I'm just saying. All right? I'm just saying, all right? All right. I'm fooling, coach. They better demonetize me for this one. Let me. Damn it. He's done it again. And before people point out the obvious to mention how bad Kira did at this comp before she found the pink box, understand Kira was throwing this comp to get the blood on Dane all along. If there was no Dane, Kira probably would have went harder at this competition. It also isn't lost on me, Adam lost this comp because he wasn't able to find a box. Seeing as he refused to throw HOH to Anthony during a box comp and had a rigged beta male twist based off him being helped to find boxes, the irony is hilarious to say the least. Adam lived and died by the box, you could say. Hi, Sam. Oh, Don DeMarco. Woo, I'm killing it. I'm killing it tonight. Oh, let me stop, man. Let me stop. Okay. Oh, man. That reminded me of the Eminem song, man. Oh, hi, Haley. All right, let me stop. Oh, man. When it's Dane's turn, you can clearly see his body type is ideal for this competition. These narrow passages are perfect for him to dive through. Did y'all notice that? Everyone else had to crawl through stuff. Dane could just launch. I'm talking Call of Duty dolphin dive through these little cupboards. I mean, what the hell is it? He's looking like Harry Potter with his uncle and auntie. You feel it, dig me? He under the cupboard, coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, come on, man. This comp was 100% rigged for Dane's small, but let's really keep it a buck tonight. You feel me? Like, come on, dog. Like, y'all rigged this so hard. It's not even funny, man. So, but who else was able to have this handicap? Nobody else. And see, here's the thing. If Dane leaves in Mark's place, this handicap is probably between Mark, who has a smaller body and is a shorter human being, and Kira, who is shorter than everyone else left. So understand, it's still probable that Mark could have won both HOH and veto this week, but I think Mark would have been smart enough to do more with it than to not use it at all. Okay? I think so. I really do think so. All right? Now, and did y'all notice how production specifically got Adam to wear a Super Mario Brothers overall for a comp with Super Mario sound effects? Come on, B. Come on, B. More preferential treatment they giving this man, dog. Like, I know y'all know this man out here, they making bling, bling, ding, ding. They making all these sound effects. Meanwhile, this dude wearing a red overall, looking like Mario's alternate costume in Super Smash Brothers or something. Like, what is this shit? This is once again more proof that they will do anything to allow Adam to have a viral moment, man. Like, for real. Like, why is no one else rocking overalls? You really mean to tell me these people could choose whatever they wanted to rock? And you mean to tell me production with their apex predator threat, well, apex predator pet, I mean, you mean to tell me they didn't pull them to the side? Hey, man, you know this competition is going to most likely be something with a Super Mario thing. Why don't you wear that red overall? You mean to tell me Adam just happened to pick that? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. See, my level of detail, my attention to detail is second to none. I notice all these little red herrings, all these little cookie crumbs and paper trails that really fully encompass the agenda of production. But let's continue yet again, ladies and gentlemen. After noticing that outfit, it was clear to me production told Adam what to wear because of the theme of the competition, because nobody else matched the theme but him. This matched the thing. Oh, my fault. This falls parallel with my theory that production has been trying to give Anthony so many opportunities to have viral moments and be likable within them. Dane mentions how he plans not to use veto to get all the blood on Anthony. At first, I thought even if the veto winner was HOH, they still had to send someone home themselves. But now that I know Dane isn't the one to send Adam out, my fault. We getting sweaty, coach. You feel it, dig me, man. We put in work tonight. It is what it is. No pain, no gain, coach. I'm making them gains. But anyway, but now that I know Dane isn't the one to send Adam out, production and Dane must have worked in lockstep to ruin Anthony's chances of winning the game right here. Dane is straight up lying in Adam's face, promising him he will stay. And I just don't get why Anthony would see more value in keeping Dane over Mark, but not keeping Adam over Kira, especially if he wanted to preach loyalty at the end of the game. But after coming to my senses a bit, I get it. He can only beat Kira at this point, and he must sense it. But that's neither here nor there. By him sending Adam out the door himself, Adam is guaranteed to vote for Dane to win. And Mark has no choice but to be more mad at Anthony. But this doesn't make sense to me why Corey would be mad at Anthony. Technically, Anthony got his revenge for her tonight. So clearly production has gotten to Corey because it doesn't make any sense for her to dislike him so much. If I'm Anthony, I see why he had to cut Adam here. Adam has been disrespectful towards him the entire season and didn't come off believable when he told him he would take him to final two. So Adam needed to go. I just don't get why Mark had to go. It still doesn't really make sense to me. Jury House segment comes up. SD, of course, is clout chasing off Damien's popularity outside the game. Sam is still getting free marketing as a stylist, but showing her doing Corey's eyebrows, which I found to be very repulsive, if I'm being honest. Mark comes in, and he mentions the Pretty Boy Alliance running the entire game. Now, I thought this was funny because they didn't even believe Mark was part of it. They thought he was trolling in his goodbye messages. No, he was part of it, coach. He was part of it. I know this got to hurt Damien's psyche because he's like, damn, I was more athletic than Mark. Why couldn't I be included? I know deep down Damien was a little butthurt because he was more happy Mark was the first one to come out. And I'm like, yeah, that Kiki shit, that's playing a role in why you hate him so much. I mean, bygones should be bygones at this point. You feel it, dig me? And let's be real, Damien. You should have left during Mark's HOH week. Corey should have stayed in the damn game. And maybe we have a whole different late game. You never know, coach. All right? But, hey, that's what production does, man. But, yeah, so this makes Corey so angry with Anthony, and I don't know why. Was Anthony supposed to predict a random anonymous twist and protect her from it? Corey is being nonsensical here. But the fact that production showed that, but showed nobody being mad at Adam or Dane, is just further proof that they are so thirsty for ratings that they want the casuals to know Anthony has no chance of winning before finale night even happens. It's basically the same tactic from last Wednesday, but done to ruin a player instead of propping one up. But it's all to benefit Dane in both Wednesdays. So take that into account. Now let's continue. Commercial break ends and Adam comes into the HOH room to figure out what the plan is. Anthony and Dane both have nothing to say to him. You can tell Adam is the next Brittany Haynes because he starts crying his ass off. This was so embarrassing for him. I'm going to keep it all the way a buck with you. You can't be the guy punching boxes because your girl is out the door. Then when you have a chance to go see her, damn, this sweat is crazy. Then when you got a chance to go see her, I would have never did y'all like that. Now, let's keep it a buck, y'all. Did y'all really expect Adam to ever take Anthony to final two? Can we be honest with ourselves? Absolutely not. Okay? So for him to be like, I would have definitely took y'all to final three. I'm not buying it, coach. I'm really not buying it. And I don't think y'all should buy the bullshit either. Okay? But I just thought this was hilarious because he came off very Haynesy, if I'm being honest. But that's neither here nor there. And I ain't talking underwear. All right, let's continue. But honestly, okay, my fault. Anthony tells him he's unbeatable at the end. But honestly, Dane is unbeatable as well, but Anthony kept him over Mark, who he could beat in his sleep. So I really don't get why Anthony isn't taking Adam, because Dane will take Kira over Anthony, while Dane would probably take Anthony over Adam. Adam brings this up, but my problem with this argument is it felt like something production told Adam in the DR to say to Anthony. Because my thing is, why didn't Adam come up with this theory on the spot? Why was he so busy crying? Like, if you really are asking me, because I wasn't watching Feuds this weekend because family was in town, of course. But at the end of the day, if I got to be completely real with y'all, right before Adam was sent home, they had that little montage of people telling you're awesome people. It was almost like Adam was in some bipolar. It was almost like he was on this bipolar, neurotic, emo type stuff. Because it felt like them putting that in was to make him feel okay and accept the fact he's leaving and people love him. That's what it felt like. It felt like they were coddling him on his way out. And then when you take into account he cries and walks away, then all of a sudden he has this new theory of why Anthony should keep him. You know, it's like, why didn't you come up with this as soon as Dane won veto? You always knew Dane wasn't going to use the veto, right? Because if you thought it was a chance he could have used it, you should be holding him 50% accountable right now. So the fact that you are blaming only Anthony shows you didn't expect Dane to ever use it, but that shows you're entitled enough to expect the black man to do something for you that you don't expect the white man to do for you. And see, that comes with its own problems and microaggressions. And I'm trying my best not to make Adam look racist because he was the one who shot down that racist shit earlier in the season. All I'm saying is he clearly has a personal problem with Anthony here, and he's allowing it to cloud his judgment and logical thinking abilities, okay? If you really had all this hot shit, if you really had this theory, okay, of, oh, Dane will never take you to the end, but I would. Okay, if this really was your hot take theory, here's my question, Adam. Why didn't you want to save Mark? If Dane is this guy you would never take to the end because you can't possibly beat him, if that's your argument right now, my first question would be, okay, how come we didn't save Mark then? You were the one who were adamant to keep Dane, and I was the person who could have forced the tie or kept Dane. We could have both agreed to keep Mark ourselves. But you wanted Dane to stay because you wanted a perceived shield in the game. And then that perceived shield turned on you. That's your fault. That's not Anthony's fault. But he's blaming Anthony right now for it when he made the mistake of trusting Dane too much himself. And see, that's my problem. If you're supposed to be closer to Dane than you are to Anthony, you should hold more of a grudge with the guy that you called your brother. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, man. And see, this is why I feel like production had to have cooked up this argument for Adam, and Adam tried to apply it, but it didn't sound good enough because he didn't come up with it himself. Because remember, I pointed this out several times during this season. Whenever Anthony comes up with a logical argument, Adam has to run away, compare notes with other human beings, then come back to Anthony with a smart way to mediate whatever problem they have, right? So really, we saw the same thing happen now. We saw the same thing happen tonight. So am I supposed to believe all of a sudden Adam grew up here and just decided all of this stuff on his own when production has clearly been showing him favoritism the entire season? Of course not. So production, once again, you played yourself and you showed your cards. You're out here helping Adam come up with campaign strategies to keep himself. But meanwhile, Adam was the one with that beta male ass anonymous twist that sent Corey out the door, and you gave him more time in a goodbye message to tell her why she left than you gave her to talk to stay in the damn game. So please stop it with all of this pity party shit. Especially when you throwing a black man under the bus in the process. We should feel more bad for the black man than we do for Adam. Adam's set for life based off the edit y'all gave him. He gonna be hired at any place, okay? He gonna get free food wherever he goes. Anthony, not so much because y'all made him look like a dick. He might have to pay twice as much wherever he goes. But y'all don't think about that because y'all are too busy jacking off your faves every 5 seconds. And that's the real problem here, ladies and gentlemen. Production shouldn't have faves. The NBA commissioner shouldn't have a favorite team. You see what I'm saying? It's a conflict of interest. But that's neither here nor there. Now, let's continue. But yeah, so like I said, so Adam brings this up, but my problem with this argument is it feels like something the DR told him to say to Anthony, because it's another example of how Adam needs to compare notes before coming up with anything thought-provoking in a game-related fashion. Adam must have been in a terrible mood because that clip montage with people giving compliments to all the players was crazy to me. Now, I did like the black dude telling Anthony that he inspired him as a black man to get more stuff done in life. I did like seeing that, but I just felt like production was going out of their way because, but see, here's the thing. They gave Anthony one black guy. They gave Dane two different people, and one of them looked just like Esty. Did y'all notice that? She looked like Esty and spoke just like Esty. And she was telling Dane, oh, you're such an inspiration for us all. So someone can lie on a dead relative and be a bigger inspiration than the black man who fought against an entire system, an entire game built off racism. You see that, man? So Dane can get two people telling him he's the shit. Anthony gets one, and it's just a black person. Meaning they couldn't find a single white person to say something positive about Anthony. That looks even worse on you, production. I'm just telling you how it looks. That looks bad. That looks bad. See, black people already ride with Anthony. That was your moment to show white people ride with him. But you don't want the casuals to ride with him, so you only show black people. That way, you could dog whistle to the white folks that are racist to hate Anthony because black people love him. Oh, I'm connecting the dots. Y'all done fucked up again. Man, they think they slick, bro. Man, and see, this is why someone who thinks like I do, who thinks like the RBR family thinks, won't be put on a show like this, man. We won't. Because we will see this coming. We will play a game within a game. We will play a game with production. They won't even know what we're thinking. And that's dangerous. Because how do you edit someone when you don't really know what makes them tick? We see it all the time. They don't know how black people think. They don't know what makes us tick. So they constantly edit us in a way that makes us look worse than the white counterparts that were called legends for doing the same thing. But let's continue. Adam must have been in a terrible mood because, like I said, that clip montage was crazy to me. It's like they did it to make Adam feel good on his way out. That's more preferential treatment, in my opinion. But if I'm Adam, wouldn't I want Dane to take me off the block to prove he's loyal to me? Why is it only on Anthony to keep Adam? Why did Adam work harder on his brother to keep him? I don't like how he put all of this on Anthony, for Anthony to carry. I don't like that. Because that's him going into the jury house, already telling people, oh, Anthony's not a man of his word. That's what that looks like. It looks like he has already made up his mind Anthony don't deserve to win. I wouldn't even be shocked if Kara was sitting at the end with Anthony and Adam went back on his word because Anthony went back on his word with me in final 3. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for Kara to win, to stick it to you. I wouldn't hold it past him. But he would never vote for Kara. She sat next to Dane. And that's sad because Dane also lied and turned on you. So y'all keep telling me race don't play a factor here. But why isn't Dane being held accountable for his lies, but Anthony is? Please explain it to me. It does not make any sense. It does not. And that's why the Dane fans, they don't really have any grounds to stand on. And the Adam fans, they really don't have no choice but to root for Kara, really. They don't really have a choice. On the low. And they don't really want to root for Kara because that'll lead to an Anthony win in final 2 in all likelihood. So they're basically forced to root for Dane just to see Kara at the end, but so Kara doesn't lose to the black guy. I mean, when you talk about a conflict of interest, man, a lot of people are conflicted right now. They don't know who to flip-flop to. Meanwhile, I've been stayed still on everything I've said up until this point that Anthony still deserves to win. And like I said in the last rant, Anthony wins this season. He's the greatest of all time. Dane wins this season. It's an argument. He's the best Big Brother Canada player of all time. But it's just an argument. Because the amount of help he's getting, especially in that Final 4 veto comp, I've never seen that done. Yeah, let's create a comp where the two tall guys have absolutely no shot. Like, what the heck is this? But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to rehash talking points. So let's continue. Anthony makes an incredible speech explaining why Adam must go. And production right on cue throws in the Game of Thrones tragedy music like someone just died. I mean, I got to keep it a buck. Now, anyway, make no mistake about it. I'm happy Anthony got the last laugh when it came to Adam. But I also wish Anthony would have kept Adam over Kara because I don't think Kara will outsmart Dane. I think production will feed Dane answers on the Marissa Jared Rigger side of the game to ensure their final 2 will be two production pets. Now, at the end of the day, I've already pointed it out that he can only win next to Kara. So this is just how I felt during the episode, okay? They know Anthony probably beats Kara. They won't want to risk it, even if it's Kara's best chance of winning herself. So I fully expect Dane to cut Anthony in the final 3 because this will give the Anthony haters who gave up on watching this season 96 times their payoff. It took 3 months for it to pay off. So we must give this brother Anthony the credit he deserves. I've really never seen a player hold off so much criticism for so long. I mean, people wrote this guy off several times and he kept coming back. You feel me? He just kept coming back, man. And there's something to be said for that level of facing adversity and bouncing back, man. And see, I think that is a trait that all black people have. The problem is we're never put in the right season to showcase that skill. Anthony was very lucky to be in a season where he could. So I think he should be very thankful for that. But that's neither here nor there. He did as much as he could for as long as he could. But in the end, he needed those people of color in the jury house. But without them being there, it's just as easy for the whitewashed jury to turn on him like they turned on Kaylin. And that's the part Queen Kaylin can appreciate. Everything she pretty much predicted would happen did happen. And everything I predicted as well. But for Adam to say he's more disappointed in Anthony to Arissa Cox than he is at Dane tells me he's very butthurt. Dane could have used the veto to take his brother off. Why does Dane get to escape this scotch-free when Adam knows Dane didn't need to win the veto in the first place? It just doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. But it does tell me Adam would have never taken Anthony to final two because his personal problems with him are clouding his mind from thinking logically. But what do you expect from a guy who punches boxes when he doesn't get his way? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into answering questions on Old Feuds Die Hard, the 20th rant of Big Brother Canada 7. I'm on my way to the live chat. I want to hear all the hot takes, coach. I want to hear everything. Oh, yeah, Dane is definitely a coward. I agree with you. He basically, that entire conversation, he just left it up to Anthony. You know what I'm saying? When he had the damn veto around his neck still and could have just said, hey, bro, I'm taking you off, Adam. How about this? You get to decide if you want to keep Anthony since he can't make up his mind about you. See, that would have made Dane look a lot better in Adam's mind. Okay. And if the final three was Adam and Anthony, it would have guaranteed Adam still took Dane to the end. But Dane is scared of sitting next to Adam. Oh, snap, my fault, y'all. But see, you see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, Dane pulled a cowardice move, and the same people were so quick to call Mark a coward. Same people who were so quick to call who was the other guy they called a coward? They called Mark a coward, and they called someone else a coward before him. I can't remember. But anyway, they were just calling people cowards in a row. I think they didn't call Corey a coward. No, they didn't call her a coward. But anyway, the same people who called Mark a coward for not making the move they wanted him to make are the same people that aren't calling Dane a coward for pulling this beta male move. Oh, I'm gonna leave it up to Big Poppy. I'm gonna leave it up to him. He's gonna have the blood, even though I clearly won a veto I didn't need to win for the sole purpose of having all the power in the world to guarantee you left Adam. We're gonna jump on code here. You're gonna give me the vote anyway, and you're gonna always hold Anthony accountable because I know you hate his guts. Win, win, win. I mean, it must be nice. It must be nice because I know for a fact if Anthony won that veto and if Dane didn't win the veto, and let's say it was up to Dane to cut somebody, if Dane would have decided to cut Adam would have been focusing more on Anthony using that damn veto than he would have been on Dane sending him home with that one vote. And we all know it. We all know it. Further showing his personal problem usurped any logical thinking. And I'm just proving it once again, man. I'm just proving it once again. So Dane is full of crap. His fans are full of crap. Kira, I ain't really got nothing bad to say. Kira's just an innocent bystander. I told you Kira was making final three regardless. I said that in final 7. I said, Kira, you making final three regardless. You just hang out. You feel it, Digby? Now, the fact that they won that final 5 HOH was great for them, but I still contest they would have made final 4 anyway. They would have made final 4 anyway. I think Mark probably leaves over Kira in final 5. And then we just have a situation that's the exact same in final 3, final 4. It would have been the same outcome, basically. It would have been no different, in my opinion, personally. I think Kira was always predetermined to be in the final 3. Okay? And see, for Adam and Dane to make a final 3 deal with Kira behind Anthony's back, and then for Adam to hold it against Anthony for cutting him when the final 3 deal was right in front of Anthony, and the only person he could truly cut in this scenario was the best player left part of that final 3 deal, I just feel Adam is a little selfish. He's just a little selfish. Oh, you didn't win any comps. You don't deserve to win, but you single-handedly sent me home. That should hold some weight and value in the jury house, but instead we're going to be bitter fucks about it. Come on, man. Come on. I'm just calling it like I see it, man. You feel me? You feel me? Like, for real. All right, y'all playing a joke on me. Oh, y'all on that other shit. I don't know what's going on, man. Yep, Tati, it was. That veto comp was 100% tailor-made for Dane to win. Tailor-made. And see, here's the thing. There's not even a guarantee Mark wins that HOH. There's a chance Adam pulls that off. You never know, because Mark does choke sometimes. Okay? So at the end of the day, Adam could have won this Final Four HOH. Then it would have been up to Kira, Mark, or Anthony to win the veto. And that's what it would have really got interesting in that scenario. Because I could easily see a scenario where Mark wins veto. Adam doesn't feel like he needs to win it. He doesn't want the blood, so he doesn't go for the veto. Mark goes for the veto. He wins it because out of everyone left, maybe he beats Kira for it. All right? And see, if Mark wins it, I can see Mark in the back of his mind going, I got to go to the end with Kira and Adam. And see, that's the thing. At any moment, anything could change. So really, the only scenario I think where Anthony makes Final Three, well, see, that's the thing. If Adam wins that Final Four HOH, Anthony has no chance to make Final Three unless he wins the veto, and the veto was designed for him never to win. I mean, unless, of course, Adam won the veto, and then he went out of his way to cut Kira to make it Final Three with Mark, Adam, and Anthony. But that would be an ideal scenario for Anthony, not Adam. I don't see Adam pulling off that move. I see him going to Final Three with Mark. Well, no, he wouldn't want to go to Final Three with Mark. He would want to go to Final Three with Kira and Anthony because he believes he could beat Anthony over Mark for the Final Three HOH. So, yeah. At the end of the day, I've already did the math in my head. At the end of the day, the ideal Final Three was easily Mark and Adam for Anthony. Somehow, some way, he got Kira and Dane. And I think that's just not a good... Putting my faith in Kira for a 2-hour finale is going to drive me to drink. I just got to keep it a buck with y'all. I might not last that whole... I might show up in the last 40 minutes, Coach. Okay? I don't know. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, man, let's get to answering some questions, Coach. Damian still keep trying to insist he was a part of it. Delusional groupie. Hail to the Nono says, people in Big Brother Canada suck. They only value comp wins. I agree. They don't know what they're talking about. Tony Robinson Miller asked the question, why did Adam get so eloquent all of a sudden? It's because production gave him the playbook on what to say. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm not buying it, production. I'm really not. You know, production hasn't wanted Anthony in the Final Three for the longest, but the minute that the veto is not going to be used and the power's all on Anthony, all of a sudden, hey, Adam, this is what you do. Go to the guy who you've shitted on for the past 5 weeks in his face. Go to him and tell him why he should keep you now. You know, the guy you refused to throw an HOH to that you didn't need to win, which had resulted in SD leaving when he would have just thrown up the same people you thrown up. Yeah. Get that guy to keep you this week. And if he doesn't keep you this week, we're going to make him look like the bad guy, even though he has all the reasons in the world not to trust you. I can't make this up. I can't make even CM Butterbell. Shout outs to you. I've never seen that name. Maybe that is CM in another name. I don't know. But even CM Butterbell is saying the jury is crazy. They are crazy. They're not making any sense, Coach. They're not making any. I don't think they know what they're doing. I think production is wink, 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 giving him some incentive. Hey, man, y'all make sure Dane wins this. And did y'all see the whole scene with the dog? One of the worst forms of propaganda I've ever seen. So some random puppy, which is in Este's hands, by the way. So I'm willing to bet Este said, oh, see that's Dane. I'm sure before they even clicked record, she brought him around that picture several times, that puppy. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe, oh no, we just gave the puppy to Este. It was a complete coincidence. We didn't give it to her because we wanted the dog to pick Dane. I mean, for all we know, Este could have some of Dane's belongings. They could have had the dog smell some of Dane's belongings, and then the dog ran to fucking Dane's picture. For all we know, they could have put Dane's scent on the picture. I mean, anything is possible with production this season. Well, anything is possible any season when it comes to a black player playing well. But you get what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. If you think that was 100% done organically, then I got some sand to sell you at the beach. All right? I'm just being honest with y'all, man. Nah, B. Dog, that dog was paid for. All right? Paid for. And I think it's very ironic that production used a legitimate pet to pick a pet winner. Ain't that funny? You know, it's almost like they're mocking us in our face now. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Ebenezer asked the question, what did Adam do with shutting down racist shit? Essentially, Sam and Chelsea earlier in the season tried to imply that Kaylin and Anthony were inseparable simply because they were black. And Adam shut that shit down because he knew Anthony was working with the PBs and it was nothing of the sort. But them even voicing that was a little too Rachel and Angela, if you get where I'm coming from. It was an argument of convenience and it was very racist just because of their skin color. Okay. And they tried to imply Kaylin had him wrapped around her finger just because both of them were black. And Adam was the one who shut that down, even with two women. One of them he was trying to sleep with. The other one, for all we know, he probably tried to sleep with before the other one, before he found out she was taken. So at the end of the day, he didn't have to do that, but he did that. And I'm gonna give him credit to the end of this season for that, because he didn't have to do that. And I think if we point out when white people do stuff that is allied or the action of allies, we should give them credit for it to incentivize them to do more of it within the constructs of the game. And that's what I chose to do. And I hope more people follow suit. Most likely they won't based off how this season ended. But hey, at the end of the day, all we can do is give people credit where it is due for not allowing that racist shit to continue. Now, who would have thought Adam would have been the one with the biggest personal problem with the black guy he defended earlier in the season? But that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, I gave him credit for what he did earlier in the season. What he did after that, that's up to him. But he's still a beta male for not holding Dane accountable. Like, what you scared of? Like for real, man. All right, let's see. That's a sports question. I can't answer that question. Yes, we are definitely the area dykes, Miss Selena. You already know what it is. Johnny believes if Kira wins final HOA, she'll take Dane because she'll claim he's more deserving. Oof. If Kira does that, man. Woo! I mean, I think Kira will probably get their chance on another season for doing that, because production will go, thank you. You kept this black man from winning. If Ika couldn't, we'll be damned if it's him. You know how it is. They'll probably give her something down the road for that, And did you notice how as soon as another lesbian came into the game, no disrespect to Sarah, but at the end of the day, Sarah beat a black man. So I always felt like Sarah is the undeserving winner. But that's neither here nor there. She a pothead though, so I don't hate her. But at the end of the day, though, match the pack, Sarah. But no, did you notice how soon as she came in, they made it up to Kira to do the introduction? Oh, that's Sarah from Big Brother Canada 3. Oh my God. Yada, yada, yada. The same way that they made sure another lesbian did the Wendy segment with Kira. I'm just saying, man, they going out of their way to make sure Kira is the one. You know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. But yeah, I noticed that. Pamela Walker asks, what adversity did Anthony face? He was never on the block. Ma'am, with all due respect, being a black man in a predominantly white house, you're facing adversity every second of every minute of every hour of every day. That's my answer. I bodied that question fast. Nothing else needs to be said. Nothing else needs to be said. Now, for whatever reason, my stuff ain't refreshing. I think y'all might be asking more stuff, but my stuff might be tweaking. So I'm gonna refresh it and see what happens, Coach. Let's see. Now, for whatever reason. Okay, yeah, it did. Yeah, it wasn't refreshing. Okay, now I see the stuff y'all was saying. Wow, yeah, that stuff froze on me. Am I on battery saver mode or something? All right, okay, yeah, now I'm seeing a lot more questions I didn't see before. Okay, here it is. J. Griff period asked the question, do you think Adam would have done better if Sam and Chelsea lasted longer and a few of the pretty boys got evicted earlier? Yes. Mainly because Chelsea and Sam would have had no chance of winning the game. He would have had all the incentive in the world to go final 3 with them. He washes either one of them in final 2. They would have had to cut him and take each other to final 2. I don't see any of them beating him on trivia. So it would have just ended, the way they wanted BBCAN1 to end. It would have been Emmett and Jillian at the end, essentially, like they wanted that to end. Adam probably would have won the game that way. I truly believe so. But it all depends on what variation of PBs would have left before jury. I mean, I'm sure we're assuming Mark leaves instead of Kiki right before jury, but someone else would have had to leave instead of Chelsea during Dane's HOH week. So that would have had to been Kira, but Kira was another number for Adam. So wouldn't you, I guess for Adam's game, he would have needed Kira to stay along with Chelsea and Sam in the jury to have any chance of making the end. He would need that extra number to have the majority. He would have 4 numbers out of a possible 9. Because the jury starts at the final 9 because there's 7 jurors and there's 2 people in the finale. So Yeah, so yeah, he would have had almost half the amount of numbers in Final 9 if he would have had all three of those women with him in the jury stage. So yeah, that's my answer to that. He would have definitely probably won this season if he found a way to get all three women to last that long. But see, that goes back to why Anthony's game was so sensational. I mean, even though Dane was the one who technically sent out Sam. No. Corey sent out Sam. Let me take that back. Even though Dane was the one who took out Chelsea, and he was the one who nominated Kira 4 times, at the end of the day, Anthony was the one planting the seeds that turned Corey on Sam in the first place. Let's be real. If it wasn't for Anthony's gameplay, he could have thrown Dane under the bus early. Corey backdoors Dane. Dane is gone. But Anthony was a loyal player who was only trying to outplay the stragglers because he didn't want there to be too many Kiras lasting towards the end of the game. You feel me? But yeah, so truth be told, the mid game is where Anthony was at his prime gameplay. Towards the end, he started to peter off a bit. But yeah, he still played more than a sensational game, legendary game, transcendent game, the type of game that will change casting forever, if I'm being honest. So that's my answer to that question. Did I see Este's reaction? Yeah. Hell to the Nono says, since it seems like the jury is dead set against Anthony, what approach should he take? Well, at the end of the day, if he makes Final 2, his approach needs to be all about simply, look, name all the stuff you did that led to you being in the position you are today. Because all Kira's going to bank on is, I'm the first non-binary player. I was on the block since week 2. I've been an underdog from the start. And you know how her white girl crying technique infused with the idea and the narrative of her being an underdog is definitely going to play well with this white jury more than a black man saying he was an underdog, even though he was more of an underdog. Let's be honest. He won't be able to use that same card that she will be able to use. They will be able to tug at heartstrings. Anthony is going to have to be a logical, sound mind and deal with the emotions of the jury. Whereas Kira, they'll be able to be overtly emotional in the moment, like Paris was, to be honest. You know, Kayla was more so about business. Paris was more so emotional. And that worked for her. For Kira, they would have to be emotional as well. But at the end of the day, like I said, Anthony's going to have to deal with an emotional jury with a logical argument. Kira's going to have to deal with a logical jury with an emotional argument. And at the end of the day, if 4 people vote for Kira to win this game, it will only further back up my argument about how racist this game truly is. So actually, if that outcome does happen, that'll just give me my excuse never to cover Big Brother Canada again. I mean, it is what it is. All right. You know what I'm saying? Because if Kira wins this show, I mean, damn. Anybody can win over a black person on this show. And it'll really make Sarah look like a bad player too, because it will only back on my argument that Godfrey only lost because he was black. So honestly, it could turn into this. All right, but that's my answer to that question. Neon Diamond 101 asked the question. Good to see you, Neon. Dave, how would you compare the Pretty Boys versus the Brigade? The Pretty Boys definitely have better players than the Brigade did. I feel like Lane didn't hold his weight as well as the PBs did individually. Now, I know Mark didn't really hold his weight when you think about the other 3 men that was in that alliance. But it's funny, like the members of the PBs, they have so many different traits of archetypes within the individual players themselves. Like Adam, he's a comp beast, similar to how Hayden was, but he doesn't have the strategic acumen Hayden had. Dane, he has a strategic acumen in the comp prowess that Hayden had, but I'd argue too much of the game was handed to him. So, and I know people could argue, well, the game was handed to Hayden to an extent as well. And that's where I look at Enzo. Enzo was the guy who really was the best player of the group, just like Anthony was. But see, the thing is, Enzo got away with a lot of comments as well because he was white. You feel me? I'd argue Anthony is without a doubt the Enzo of Big Brother Canada. He is going to be looked at as the guy who the Hayden of the group was too scared to sit next to because he knew he would wash him. He would wash him, and he didn't need to win comps to wash him. You feel me? And Lane, the one that sits at the end next to Hayden, will probably end up being Kira. And Kira doesn't really deserve to be laying in this situation, but there's no Mark here. but yeah, so yeah, that's my answer to that. And I guess you would say Mark is Matt. So that would basically leave Adam to be Lane in a way, because Lane was this physically fit guy that wasn't very smart. So yeah, I guess Adam is Lane, Enzo is Anthony, Dane would be looked at as Hayden based off of the production, the preferential treatment on top of the fact that he is intelligent and can win comps. And Anthony is the Enzo, the guy who was robbed and production worked against him at every single stage. But he was so street smart and so socially gifted, he was able to not be a super fan of the game and still dominate the game. And I think that's going to be Anthony's legacy. And we know that's Enzo's legacy. And honestly, go back and watch BB12. You will be shocked how much Enzo pops off and pops on the screen. He pops. The rest of them guys, not so much. And to be honest, that showmance that Hayden had with that girl, that should have hurt him a bit when it came to Rachel and Brendan. But for whatever reason, they never really went after him after they got out the girl. And that's a testament to his social game. So I guess it is pretty similar to how Dane survived the SD eviction. And he survived that one eviction when he was in trouble as well. But once again, that was production interference mixed in with a little bit of, let's throw the moms into the fray to make this black man think about his mom and not want to ruin anyone's chances that deserves it when their mom is nearby. It was there was a lot of manipulation there, a lot of dirty manipulation there, which I've already mentioned, which I won't rehash. But I got to keep driving the point home, man. They've used some of the dirtiest tactics I've ever seen known to man to ensure Anthony couldn't win this season. And if that ain't a testament to him being the real deserving winner, then nothing else will convince you otherwise. I'm just keeping it a buck. Kira is going to have a meltdown. You funny. The season would have been much more interesting if the PB didn't exist, and I think Anthony would outlast them all. I don't know about that. I think if the PBs doesn't exist, Anthony probably gets booted in Mackey's spot. That's really how I feel. Because his gameplay was great, but him being part of the PBs did allow him to dominate the mid game, right? If he's not part of that group, and let's say Damien is instead, I think without a doubt, most likely, Anthony leaves in Mackey's spot. Mackey probably leaves in Kaylin's spot. Kaylin probably leaves in Chelsea's spot. I think that's how it would happen. So that would push Kiki into the jury technically, but we all know the game would have shook out much differently if that would have been the three people eliminated in a row. Okay, so at the end of the day, I mean, we don't really know who would be on the block right before the jury moment started anyway. So we can't really chime in on that part. But yeah, I think if he wasn't part of the PBs to begin with, I think he would have been more loyal to Kaylin, but I also think Adam would have been less likely to defend his honor in front of Chelsea and Sam. So you see what I'm saying? It comes with a give and a take. You feel me? So we have to take the outcome that we got, even if we're disappointed in it. That's basically my way of saying that, essentially. You feel me, coach? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is rigged. I agree. Miss Marlena asked the question, did you see the jury house interviews? Damien said only Mark is campaigning. Do you think he's keeping his word to Anthony? Well, based off of some of the people writing these articles, Mark is already telling people he's not rooting for Anthony to win. He's already told people this. You feel me? And at this point, it does feel like a lot of conflicting reports. Like they're trying to throw all of us off on purpose to make all of us want to tune in and see what the real story is. I mean, for all we know, this could just be their effort to boost ratings once again. But at the end of the day, I feel like if they didn't show it on TV that Mark was speaking highly of Anthony, most likely they're not going to show it on finale night, Mark talking highly of Anthony. I think as soon as Adam walks in, I think Sam automatically hates Anthony because Adam sent him out. But see, here's the thing. Can you really paint Anthony with that floater argument when he sent the biggest player out the door, the perceived biggest player out the door? Can you really call him a floater in that moment? I think a floater sends home Kira and then goes, I'm along for the ride. He took initiative there. So I feel like them seeing Adam walk in there should change their minds on Anthony's game a bit, but most likely it will just lead to more bitterness. So we need to be prepared for that tomorrow night. All right. That's my answer to that question. Thank you, CM Butterbell. I know I am on fire on the low, man. What can I say, man? If you would have saw what we did last night, you would know anything is possible during this rant, coach. But thank you. I appreciate your compliment. I actually thought you were CM, but now I see you're two different people. You've commented back to back there. Okay. Okay, Devin Bates asked the question, Dave, why do you think production is trying so hard to make people believe that Anthony has zero chance of winning? Because they want to boost ratings for finale night. Like, think about this for a second. If it seems like a foregone conclusion that Anthony sent Adam out the door and that he will win because Dane and Kira will both take him to final two, no one tunes in for that. Because deep down in their heart of hearts, they would know if Anthony is that slick to convince the two people left to both take him to the end, he deserves to win. So what better way to do that, to cause some type of hysteria, to put some doubt in people's minds, than to give us scenes of Anthony being a major liar to Adam, then to show Dane, you know, reacting to Adam saying that, hey, Dane's not going to take you to final two. He's going to take Kira. And for Dane to give Adam that look like, hey, man, chill, you blowing up my spot. All of these things were done to make the casual audience go, oh, I got to tune in tomorrow. That black man's going to fall on his face at the last second. It's going to be all worth it, man. Yeah, we're going to go back to our trailer park and celebrate with some 40 ounces. That's the type of shit that's going to happen. Let's get a Cobra, bro. They're going to be on that stuff. Well, I mean, let's just keep it a buck here. That's what's going to happen, all right? I mean, this is going to be a lot of white folks at Super Bowl tomorrow night. I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all, all right? Now, let's continue. It's funny, man. I'll be imitating them, but damn, like, you can actually picture them talking like that. But anyway, Derpy asked the question, will production dare bring Anthony back for another season? Anthony, don't come back. Don't come back. There's no way you can replicate what you did this one time. And you benefited a lot from the fact that people thought you were a recruit as a black man. Now they're going to know that you were throwing comps. Now they're going to know you're capable of winning stuff like you did in a double eviction HOH, the veto comp. I mean, it just doesn't behoove him. Bro, you want to pursue an acting career, go do that. You can do it. Go do that. Don't come back to this. You're above this, especially the way that they treated you on your way out. You're above this. They don't deserve you on their show anymore. And that's what's really real, you know? And let's be real, the odds of them bringing a black person back as it is very low. Like, you got to be viral and they got to like you. You know what I'm saying? Those two things got to work. And have you noticed the only black man that they brought back was the gay guy? I'm just saying, now I respect Gary, but at the end of the day, they didn't bring Godfrey back. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just letting, and Godfrey would have done very well in All-Star season. Because his game, even though he was robbed at the end, he doesn't have a game where we got to get him out pre-jury because his game is too dangerous at the end. No. That's not his game. You feel me? His game is just reacting and fitting in where he can get in. And then when the moment, when he needs to, then he tries to win stuff. But that doesn't make him some player that has to go pre-jury. Like, people like Cassandra had to go pre-jury. Way too crafty. And Cassandra got pretty much framed by that one guy who left who left week one that season. So it is what it is. Tati asked the question, did you see Corey saying Adam and Dane would be a badass final two? Yeah, I saw that. Corey holds a grudge with Anthony because Anthony couldn't protect her from that anonymous twist. It's just what it comes down to, man. And once again, this was out of Anthony's hands. And Corey knows this is out of his hands because Adam was given a 40-second goodbye message the day Corey left. You feel me? Like if I know my plea to stay in the game was less time than Adam explaining why he sent me out the door anonymously, I would never want him to be in final two. And anyone who sends him out the fucking door, I would give them my vote for knocking him out who knocked me out, right? Because you took the power vacuum I left by taking him out. But once again, when it's time to jump on code, people jump on code. And let's be real. What if production is letting Corey know how much hated she is for being aligned to Anthony? What if she is trying to rebrand herself by showing a conflict with him? You gotta ask these questions, man. It's very plausible. It's not something that's unrealistic. It really isn't. And honestly, I've already said production probably interfered in some way, shape, or form. Wouldn't that be the easiest way to interfere? You know, to let them know how they're perceived outside of the game? And technically that's against the rules because that could affect their jury votes, by the way. But does production care about cheating and rigging? No. So this still falls in lockstep. But yeah, so Go says, Dave, tell us what the plan is for tomorrow's episode. I mean, at the end of the day, Kira has to win a final HOH, take Anthony to the end. Anything other than that, we disappointed. That's what it is. That's the plan. I mean, look, I'm not looking forward to this episode tomorrow because the way people are talking, Dane probably already won part 1. Kira probably won part 2, or vice versa. I'm willing to bet Dane won part 1, though. He'd probably want to get that out the way. That way he can start studying early. But yeah, I'd probably say that's what happens. I feel like Anthony winning part 2, that doesn't benefit him. He should want Kira to take him because he should have more confidence in Kira winning the last part than him. So he should be throwing the part 2 of the final HOH comp. So it's going to be between Kira and Dane, man. That's just what it's going to come down to. And at the end of the day, sitting through 2 hours hoping Kira does something when they were the same person that didn't use the blood veto, I mean, this is going to be excruciatingly painful. I mean, I got to be real with y'all, man. Like, I feel like one of these fucking casuals flip-flopping the way I'm rooting for someone I can't stand. But at the end of the day, they were my apex predator threat. So, Kira, you can prove it tomorrow by winning the final HOH, coach. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 20th rant of Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism, entitled Old Feuds Die Hard. I hope you all have enjoyed yourself. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you could be here with the most lit live chat in Big Brother Canada history, bar none. You'll never walk alone. I truly appreciate all of y'all coming through and showing your boy some love. I will see you tomorrow night. Have a great Wednesday night. Have a great day at work. And I will be back at y'all in 24 hours. Deuces. And good luck to Anthony. And good luck to Kira, because we need all the luck we can get the way production rigging shit.